Salt isn't just a seasoning, it's showing up in wellness clinics, luxury spas, and even respiratory therapy rooms. Because for thousands of years, salt has been used for healing, and now we're seeing it make a modern day comeback in pink Himalayan salt caves to Dead Sea soaks to even clinical research on lung function. Today, we're talking all about salt therapy. Specifically, what it is, what the science actually says, and where the hype goes too far. And just a reminder here that if you haven't already, to please hit that subscribe button and support this channel and get more quality, free natural health and wellness videos. So salt, especially when we're talking about salt therapy, isn't about trendy spa aesthetics, but about whether sodium chloride, basic NaCl, has legitimate therapeutic potential. Let's start with the research most people don't know about, because when people hear salt therapy, they think of an influencer spa day. One of the most cited medical discussions around inhaled salt appeared in the New England Journal of Medicine. And clinical research has shown that inhaled hypertonic saline can improve lung function in people with cystic fibrosis, which is a genetic disorder that causes thick mucus buildup in the lungs. In fact, controlled trials demonstrated improved mucus clearance and some modest improvements in pulmonary function when patients inhaled concentrated saline solutions under medical supervision. Now, a very important distinction. Remember that the trials used medical-grade nebulized saline, so it wasn't the exact same thing as sitting in a spa salt cave, alright? But the research shows something interesting, which is that salt particles, when inhaled in the right way, can influence mucus viscosity and airway clearance. And that right there is the foundation of modern halotherapy, which, if you haven't heard that term before, it's basically the fancy term for salt therapy, coming from the Greek word halos, meaning salt put them together, and you get halotherapy or salt therapy. But today, if you go to a salt room, modern salt rooms use machines called halogenerators to grind pharmaceutical-grade sodium chloride into microscopic particles and disperse them into the air. When you breathe in these dry salt particles, they can help thin mucus and reduce airway inflammation. They create an environment less friendly to bacteria and support skin barrier health. Modern halotherapy was first developed in Russia in the 1980s. It was inspired by observations from Eastern European salt mines in the 1800s. Miners reportedly had fewer respiratory issues than expected. Today, you can find salt rooms all over the place, and are even offered in luxury hotels and spas, including places like the Biltmore Waldorf Astoria. I myself have been in a salt room and would highly recommend trying it out, especially if the room is heated. It's super relaxing. But something else to keep in mind is that most spa-based halotherapy studies are small. And while the data is positive for things like asthma, COPD, eczema, and bronchitis symptom relief, it's generally considered a complementary or alternative therapy, and not a replacement for medical care. Cue the obligatory disclaimer, etc., etc. But long ago, in a time before halogenerators, ancient Egyptian physicians used salt to clean out wounds. Greek and Roman cultures used salt baths for muscle and joint pain. You've probably heard of the famous Roman baths, and Hippocrates himself reportedly observed that inhaling salt-infused steam helped people with coughs and breathing conditions. So, as you can see, this isn't a new fad. It's just been repackaged. When we talk about anything salt-related, the Dead Sea invariably comes up. The Dead Sea has an unusually high mineral concentration, particularly magnesium, calcium, and potassium, which makes it a great additive for balneotherapy, which is just bathing in mineral-rich waters. And balneotherapy has also been studied for inflammatory skin conditions like psoriasis and eczema. Some clinical research suggests that magnesium-rich salt baths, like magnesium chloride flakes or Dead Sea salts, can improve your skin hydration, reduce inflammation, and support barrier repair. Though, of course, taking a bath in mineral-rich water is not the same as using a cosmetic scrub once a week. I'd much prefer to travel to the source if I can. Another super popular salt, besides the Dead Sea salts, is Himalayan salt. Himalayan pink salt comes from ancient salt deposits around Pakistan. It contains trace minerals like iron, magnesium, and potassium, which give it that pink colouring. Chemically, though, it's still salt and still about 98% sodium chloride, which just means that the trace minerals exist in very small quantities. So while Himalayan salt tools, like facial rollers or body paddles, offer exfoliation benefits, the mineral absorption claims are probably pretty modest at best. And then you have salt lamps, which are everywhere. I myself have 2 or 3 and really enjoy the different shades of pink that each of them gives off. But salt lamps are often marketed as air purifying, negative ion producing devices. I do think that they have some health benefits, though again, the benefit is probably a small one. But at the same time, there is no solid scientific evidence that salt lamps produce meaningful negative ions, or that they purify air in any measurable ways. So that's one for you to try for yourself and see. However, don't think they don't have any benefits, because some small studies especially research conducted in Pakistan, suggests that exposure to the warm glow that salt lamps put off can support mood and relaxation. But in these studies, the benefits weren't due to air chemistry, but possibly because of light wavelength effects on your circadian rhythm and nervous system tone. So, what that means is just that the benefits of salt lamps could be more neurological, not ionic. Either way, that's still a benefit in my book. Creating a calming sleep environment is still super important. So, when it comes to skin and muscle recovery, that's where salt scrubs and soaks remain some of the most evidence aligned uses, mainly because warm salt water obviously increases blood flow by dilating surface blood vessels. And when this happens, that increased circulation can deliver more oxygen to tissues, support muscle recovery, and reduce perceived soreness. Magnesium containing salts can also further support muscle relaxation, although the ability of your skin to absorb magnesium remains debated. So, I tend to alternate between Epsom salt and magnesium chloride flakes. What makes salt therapy such a great therapy, in my opinion, is how accessible it is, since it's probably sitting on your kitchen table right now. So, if this helped you understand salt therapy a little bit better, like, comment, and subscribe for more videos.